Alright, B'siyata Dishmaya, we are here, brand new week, brand new Chumash, Parashat Shmot. Shmot is a hint to Shnai Mikra Ve'echad Targum. So everybody, this is a little reminder to pick up your Shnai Mikra Ve'echad Targum, to read the Parasha twice in Hebrew, once in Aramaic, verse. There you go, Baruch Hashem. And we are still in Derech Hashem. Derech Hashem, Baruch Hashem of the Ramchal, Rav Chaim Moshe Luzzatto, Zecher Tzadik Kadosh Livracha. Obviously, the shiur is for the refuah of everybody in Am Yisrael that needs a refuah, specifically Libi Bat Alon, and all of the soldiers, and all of the injured people, all the success of the soldiers, and the return of the captive back home speedily and safely, B'ezrat Hashem. We are learning in the third perek, the third chapter of the first portion in Derech Hashem, and the chapter is called B'min HaEnoshi, the human race. And we were talking about who is this mankind that the world was created for, that is put in between the side of good and becoming better and the side of negativity and lacks. And we're up to the last portion of the third perek here, and it's where it says Yud Gimel. Gulam tzarich shtedea, you need to know, ki gam ata, even now, b'yikanes haneshama b'guf ha'over, when the neshama comes inside this body, af al pi shelo kanta adayin shlemut b'ma'aseh, even though it still hasn't reached perfection according to its actions, הנה מצד יקרה וזוהרה העצמי, היה ראוי שייתן זיכוך גדול לחומר. Since the neshama is so powerful and it has such a shine and such a radiance, it would have been fitting that already just the fact that that powerful being called the neshama came inside of the body, that already should have rectified the body to a certain level. Until the point where the human body leaves what's called being a human, and it elevates and ascends much higher than that just by the fact of having a powerful neshama that's put inside of it. The gzera, the decree of Hashem, conquers that reality and that neshama. Hashem, so to say, when He puts the neshama inside the body, Hashem makes it seem as if its power is diminished, and that the radiance that it has as a neshama is lessened, so that the body won't be completely rectified to the point where it leaves being a human body and ascends more than that. Rather, the neshama should sit inside the body, and it should only be as powerful as it needs to be in order for the body to reach the tikkun that it needs. And now the neshama acts inside the body to the same amount of energy that Hashem desired that there should be in this makeup of John's body and his soul, right? According to, let's say now a person's living, he has his body and he has the neshama. According to the purification and the actions of the neshama, that should have caused for the neshama to spread over and expand, and for the light of the neshama to conquer completely the body, like we mentioned. And then this purification from the neshama would purify the body, like we said before. According to what we said before, that this can't happen in one lifetime anymore since Adam did the sin. This was the original intention, that when mankind was created, the neshama would come down and purify the body to the point where the body would just ascend and ascend and ascend, and they would be completely, so to say, on a level like the neshama. But since the decree of Hashem that we explained already, that can happen in one lifetime, so then also too, the neshama, even though it's pure, Hashem has to diminish its power so that it doesn't overcome the body. And even though it comes and it starts to do actions and then it gets intensified and it should become radiant and purify the body, Hashem decreed that it won't be able to do that either. Only in the world of neshamot. אכן בשובה בגוף אחר התחייה לא תתמעט ולא תתעלם. Therefore, when it returns after the body passes away and decomposes in the ground, and the neshama goes to the world of neshamot, and then there will be a resurrection of the dead, and they're going to be reunified. Then, after that resurrection, there won't be a lowering and a lessering and a concealment of the power of the neshama. And it tikanes b'chol zohareh v'chol kocha. Rather, the neshama is going to come with all of its radiance, all of its power. Ve'az miyad yizakech et haguf v'hu zikuch gadol. Then immediately, once after resurrection of the dead, that neshama comes back from the world of neshamot, and it comes back inside that body. Then it's going to come with full force, and it's going to purify the body immediately. ולא יצטרך לו הגידול מעט מעט שצריך עתה לילדים. And you're not going to need the slow progression of development, the slow progression of 18 years of development like children need nowadays. אלא מיד בשעתו תאיר בו ומיד תזככהו זיכוך גדול. Immediately there's going to be an illumination of the neshama in the body, immediately. ואומנם לא ימנע זה שיהיו לגוף ולנשמה יחד עילויים אחר עילויים. אבל העניין הוא שמיד בבואו הנשמה בגוף יהיה האדם ההוא יקר ונעלה וגופו יקבל מיד זיכוך ראשון. Even though there is going to be this ascent and an ascent, and the neshama and the body could always ascend to higher levels, but this idea will be like this, that straight away when the neshama comes inside the body, a person is already be considered precious and on a very lofty level. וגופו יקבל מיד זיכוך ראשון. His body straight away, immediately will receive the first level of purification. יתעלה בו מכל מה שהיה כל ימי חייו הראשונים. That body of after resurrection body, once it has the neshama come back from the world of neshamot, it will already be immediately, once that unification is done, once the soul comes into that body, immediately it will already be on a much higher level than it was the whole entire time it lived in the first time. Meaning us now, we're living, we're going to pass away after 120, our bodies are going to decompose, our neshamot are going to go to the world of neshamot, and once the resurrection of the dead comes back, our body is going to be rebuilt, a new structure. The neshama is going to come back, reunify with the body that it was in, and immediately, without any actions, we're going to be on a much higher level than we were when we first were together with the neshama. יתעלה בו כל מה שהיה וכל מיני ראשונים, ויהיה הזיכוך ההוא כפי כל המעשים הטובים שעשה כבר. And that purification that you're going to get once the body is reunified with the soul is going to be according to all of the merits that you download in this lifetime, according to all the actions that you're able to do in this lifetime. וישם אותו במדרגה שראוי לו להיות בין הזוכים ליהנות בשלמות. ואחר כך יתעלו שניהם עילויים כפי מה שראוי למי שהוא במדרגה ההיא. Like we said, we have this world to put in the work, and we have that world to receive the reward. So in this world, when we're putting into the work, let's say you achieved 70% of your mission. So there, when the body and the soul are reunified after resurrection of the dead, you will be put into that category of the people that merited to do 70% of their work. And you're going to enjoy in that league of the 70%ers, right? The people that they did that much work, and then you're gonna work together, and you're gonna have already on that, you're gonna enjoy that level of completion. And afterwards, both of them will ascend more and more and more according to the people of that level, how they should ascend. Meaning, you're setting up yourself in your life right now for how much you're going to experience the godly reality in the future. There is always an ascent, but you're put into a category, you're put into a classification, so to say, that you in your original life merited to complete 20%, God forbid, 70%, 80%, 90%. That's what you're going to enjoy in the world to come. Therefore, you have to do more and more mitzvot and more maasim tovim and good actions, so that you'll always be able to make sure that you're on a higher level, because there, when you start to receive the reward, you would like to be on those that have done 99%, those that have done 98%, those that have done as much as they could. They maximize their potential here, and they're only going to enjoy that much more light when you get there. Now we're going into Perek Revi'i, the first chapter, Perek Revi'i, the fourth portion. And the title of this chapter is "B'matzavo shel Adam ba'olam hazeh v'aderechim shelefanav b'derech prat." The situation of a person in this world, and the paths that are in front of him in an individualized set. "B'matzavo shel Adam ba'olam hazeh yibachanu shnei inyanim." The situation of a person in this world, there's going to be two different ideas that we look at. תכונת עצמו של האדם בחלקיו והרכבתם, והמקום אשר הוא מושם בו, בכל מה שהתלווה לו. Who are you? What are you made up of? What month were you born in? Who are your parents? Do you have all of your body parts? Are you healthy? This, all these other things. And also, where were you put in life and everything that comes with that? What they call nature and nurture, I think, no? That's the... Right? That's, I think, how they refer to it in the modern world. When it comes to the person himself, when it comes to the person, what he's made up of, we've already explained that the person is made up of a neshama and a guf, a body and a soul. We see that the physicality, so to say, is the thing that seems to be the first priority. The body of the man, the physical reality, that is where we put most of our emphasis. And all of the outcomes of the physicality are very strong inside a person. Straight away after a person's birth, you're nearly completely physical. What is a baby if not completely physical? All it does is eat, sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep. The intellect of a baby, of a young child, is very, very small. It doesn't act too much. It's a very physical being, and the intellect is not really that engaged. According to how the person is raised, so too his intellect will develop and strengthen. And everyone according to where they are in life. Even though that's the case, that a person develops and his intellect also develops with him, we see that it doesn't stop the physicality from being this number one priority in the human life, and from the physicality tilting us and trying to pull us towards its ideas, right? Eating, sleeping, drinking, business, physicality, sports, the body, all these different things. But when you start to grow intellectually with wisdom and you learn more and you strengthen your spiritual and your intellectual reality, then you're going to put in more effort to conquer your nature. And you're not going to let go of the reins that you have on your lusts and just let it be. You're not going to let it free fall, right? Once you start to really grow and to learn, you understand I can't give in to everything that I want. So to say you have these reins pulled back and you're not going to let them out of your hands. And now you're going to start to make more of an effort to walk in the paths of intellect. Physical life, we see, is very, very dark, very ugly, very covered up, very muddy. It's not the way. It's the complete opposite of a spiritual life, right? Being completely engaged in the physical all the time. Whoever is coming closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and trying to cling to Hashem with sanctity, we see that this is the opposite of how it should be. The soul itself, even though the neshama itself, at its core, is pure and very, very lofty, once the neshama is put inside the body, we see that, so to say, it's like divorced, it's ejected, it's pushed away from its ideas of purity and spirituality, and it's now being forced against its nature into the opposite of what its reality is. Now it is conquered, so to say, inside this body and forced to stay there. The only way that the neshama could get out of the body, or it could start to shine within the body, is by putting a lot of strong effort against what is being, the fact that it's being forced into the body, right? Like magnets. You want to bring two magnets together, right? If it's the opposites, then it clicks. But if you're putting the same side, So I just brought it as an example because we all know that experience of trying to push two magnets together, right? It's impossible. You could make them touch if you're really, really strong, and you can fight off that wave, that shield, that magnetic shield that's between the two poles, right? So too, the body is a physical reality, dark, twisted against the natural ideas of purity and spirituality. And the neshama is rooted in such a pure spiritual place that if you want it to really shine inside that nature that it's been put inside, which is against its nature, you have to really, really make an effort. Because right now it's being subdued and it's being conquered by the body and it's not able to express itself properly. Since Hashem made a decree, that this makeup of a body of a human being and his soul should never be separated for eternity, meaning since the separation of the soul and the body at death is only a temporary separation until the resurrection of the dead. After the resurrection of the dead, the soul has to return to the body. And both of them will exist together, unified for all eternity. And it must be that the neshama has to put in a lot of effort to reduce the power of the body and to take the body out of its darkness and separation from Hashem, right? Until that there's nearly no darkness left in the body. That's the goal of the neshama. Then the neshama and the body will be able to ascend together to the supernal light. Instead of what the case was in the beginning, that when we came into life, the neshama was brought down into a body and it was forced to go down. And it was forced to become more physical. The neshama was taken out of its natural place of spirituality and forced to come to a physical world, and it was forced against its will to go down and down and down. The whole job of the neshama is now that it's down, to force the body down and to reduce the darkness and then to elevate it up higher and higher with it. This person, he's in one situation where the physicality is strong inside of him, and since it's this detached reality from God and it's dark and it's not, so to say, so spiritual, then the person's in great darkness. And he's very far from what's fitting that the situation he should be in. He should be clinging to Hashem Yitbarach. The neshama should be attached to its source, but it was forced to come down into a body, which is the opposite of being attached to its source. This is where you have to put your effort. To strengthen your neshama against the physicality of your body, and to improve your situation in life, and to elevate yourself in spirituality until the measure that is fitting for you. Our whole entire goal in life is to pay attention to our neshama more than we pay attention to our body, and to feed our neshama more than we feed our body, and to give our neshama the space to shine, and not the body the space to make darkness on our neshama. Our whole entire job is to get out of this situation and to flip it. And this place that's inside of you, it's also a dark place. And everything that's inside of that place is all physical. You're in a world, a physical world. Anything that you could do in this world has to be connected to physicality. It has to be connected to the body. Since everything in this world is physical and in body oriented. Everything in the world is physical. The way you're made up, the situation that you're in life, the fact that you're a body and a soul, it forces you also to be dealing with physicality. It's impossible for you to go through life without eating and drinking, the bathroom and everything else that you need to do as a human being, as a physical being. You can't go without money. You can't go without acquisitions, without business, without doing things in order to provide for yourself. You need the money in order to eat. You need to eat in order to provide for your neshama. So you can't be in this world without doing these things. Whether we're talking about the physicality, the body of the person, or we're talking about the world that he was put in, whether we're talking about the business dealings that he has to do, you're completely invested in physicality, and you're sunken into the darkness that comes with it. That's the situation Hashem put you in. You have to work, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to drink. No matter what you're going to do in life, you have to be connected to physicality. You need to put in a lot of effort, strong effort, and hard work to ascend out of this situation. And you're forced by your nature to be engaged with these physical ideas. ואולם מעומק הצד חכמתו יתברך שמו היה לסדר הדברים באופן שאף בהיות האדם שקוע בחומר בהכרח, כמו שכתבנו, יוכל מתוך החומר עצמו והעסק הגופני ישיג את שלמות והתעלות אל זוך ואל המעלה. It should have been, Hashem should have decreed, says the Ramchal, that from within the engagement in the physicality, we would be able to purify ourselves and to ascend and to get closer to perfection, to a more purified way and to a higher level. And even more so, the opposite is true. By you being put down, that is how you get put up. From there, from that dark place, there is where you're going to get all of the importance, and there is where you're going to do all of the hard work to ascend. By way of flipping the darkness into light. And the valleys of death, you're going to flip them into the light that should illuminate and should shine. This is because of Kadosh Baruch Hu made for a person, for mankind, he made different boundaries, he made different orders of actions that we need to follow and different rules in this world. How are you going to engage with this world? How are you going to use this world? You could go eat like a goy, like a behema, you can eat like a Jew, right? How are you going to enjoy this world? How are you going to engage with this world? The intention that Hashem had behind all of this world, that the person should come and engage with this world and use this world. You need to use this thing according to halacha. You need to eat this food according to the proper etiquette of Jew eating food, and the halacha that goes into it. Hashem had an intention of how to engage with everything in this world. When you engage with this world according to Hashem's intentions and Hashem's rules and the boundaries that He set up, meaning you follow halacha when you engage into this world, then when you deal with this world, you are completing yourself. You are from within the darkness, from within the physical thing, you are ascending and elevating yourself. You're going to now ascend from this low level that you were put in, this physical reality where you have to eat, sleep, and drink. And from eating and sleeping and drinking, you're actually going to start to ascend and elevate yourself out of that. The supernal wisdom already saw everything that's going to go on with a human being, all the lacks that a human being has imprinted inside of his situation. And everything that a person needs to do in order to complete himself and to be able to cling to Hashem and to attach himself to Hashem and to enjoy from all the good that Hashem wants to bestow upon you. וכנגד כל זה, סדרם לו סדרים והגביל לו גבולות, אשר בשומרו אותם, יתעצם בו כל מה שצריך מן המעלה, אמיתי שזכרנו ושולל מעניינו, כל מה שהוא רחקה מן הדבקות העליון. They already saw in Shemayim everything that you are as a human being, with all the lacks that you have, everything that you need to work on. And then the Torah, so to say, was coming to be this interface for you to engage in this world in the proper way, with the right limitations that Hashem set up, in order for you to engage with this world, and by way of you engaging in this world, that will actually allow you to ascend. Because again, the neshama was put down into this world, taken away from its source of purity and spirituality, and forced against its nature into a physical, dark, ugly world. How could it be then that it ascends back out of that? If it has to eat, it has to sleep, it has to drink, it has to go and engage with all of these physical things, it has to do business, it has to go get money, all these different things. How could it be ever that the neshama would be able to shine out of that situation? That's when the Torah comes in. That there's limitations and there's boundaries of how to engage in this world, and that will be the way to ascend out of it. If it wasn't a decree that a person should die, like we mentioned above, if it wasn't for the decree of death since the sin of Adam and Rishon, then it would have been that by way of all of these actions, by eating food according to halacha, by doing business according to halacha, your soul will be intensified and amplified and be strengthened, and the body will become weaker. By way of that, then the body would be completely rectified, purified with the soul. Both of them would descend to cling to Hashem. Since there was the decree of death after the sin of Adam and Rishon, this can't be done at once. Your neshama being in this world, even though it can't do the complete tikkun and rectify your body immediately in this one lifetime of 120 years, it itself is becoming more and more and more powerful every time you do a mitzvah and you save yourself from doing an avera. Your neshama is getting stronger. And your body is getting stronger, but in potential. Even though it's not happening in actuality. It's not coming out in fruition. Because, again, all of this has to take place in Tchiat HaMeitim, in the resurrection of the dead when they come back together. But in the meantime, your neshama is getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. After death at 120, your neshama will go to the Olam HaNeshamot. And according to how it did in this world, will be in a different department, a different league, a different level over there. And your body is downloading all of the potential that it needs, so that when it decomposes and goes into the ground and it gets rebuilt in the resurrection of the dead, all of that potential will be now actualized. The soul will come back from its lofty place, come back inside the body, and will be completely rectified in the first go already.
But don't you need a physically strong body to enable the neshama to do all the things it needs to do in this world as well? Don't you need that strength here as well?
100%, yeah, and therefore?
No, because you said that as the neshama strengthens, the body weakens. I was a bit confused with that.
The body weakens in its physical inclinations.
Desires, you mean?
The physical inclinations. The strength of the body versus the neshama gets weakened. Right now, then the body, like he says here, you look at a human being, when their baby's born, it's completely physical. It just eats, sleeps, and goes to the bathroom. It doesn't do anything, right? The brain's nearly not even working. As a person goes, his brain starts to develop. It should be fitting that you start to pay attention more to your brain and to your spirituality and not to your body.
Right.
That would be the ideal situation. But no matter what, we see that physicality in this world always reigns supreme. Why? Because Hashem put us in a physical world where we have to eat, sleep, drink, do business, work for money, focus all these things. So then how could it be that you would ever reach this goal if everything around you, from the way you're made up of a body and a soul. And now the body is what you experience most, the body is what you see, right? And then you're put in a physical world. So it's like double physicality. How are you ever meant to get out of that? Comes the Torah and says, this is how you engage with the world. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you eat. This is how you sleep. This is how you drink. This is how you do business. Everything is laid out for you in a spiritual boundary to allow you that by way of doing physical actions, your body will actually become purified and your soul will be intensified. But what happens? We can't forget that all of the things that we're doing in our lifetime is only in preparation for Tchiat HaMeitim. That we will die after 120. Our body will decompose into the ground and go back to its four elements. And the neshama will go to this waiting chamber called Olam HaNeshamot. There it will rest in Department 9 or Department 20 or Department 3, God forbid, according to how much you did in this world. And your body is not going to become purified in this world, but it will download the potential to be more pure when the resurrection happens. All of this is just the download period. Okay,
so just to clarify, so you said that as you do mitzvot, that strengthens the neshama, right?
Correct.
What does the mitzvot do to the body?
It helps its potential that when the resurrection of the dead will happen, the body will be a more fitting vessel to receive the powerful neshama. Because the neshama is getting strengthened with every mitzvah, and then it also gets strengthened when it goes to Olam HaNeshamot. And if it comes back with 120% neshama power, and your body's only on 60,
so in addition to that potential being built, is there any change physically to the physical strength of the body as a result of the mitzvah?
Maybe the inclinations of it. But, I mean, listen, you see this in the Pshat level, it says, Ishim. It calls the Torah, the Pasuk calls the Talmidei Chachamim Ishim. Why Ishim? Ishim is like, you say Anashim. Anashim is the proper word. So what's Ishim? They say like Isha. That the body of a Talmid Chacham, when he learns so much Torah, it becomes like a Isha. It becomes like a woman. Sensitive, it's weak, it's not, right? So yeah, it's a person who's sitting all day long and he's not going for lavish meals and he's not investing too much in eating and snacking throughout the day. Then obviously his body is going to get physically weaker. The question is he really weaker in a sense that he's weak and he's not healthy enough to hold a neshama? That for sure we have to worry about that. But the main thing of the body is this gravital pull towards physicality and towards where the body comes from. Like he said in the previous chapter, that the body comes from the ground and always brings the person down towards the ground. The neshama comes from up above and is always bringing the person up. Right? So how much is the body pulling you down? That's what we're trying to weaken. And it's not about physical strength or weakness. Right. It's more about the desires. Exactly, the all-encompassing physicality of life, and that is the main thing that we have to look after, right? That we have to make sure that our body is not pulling us towards its desires, rather our neshama is the stronger pulling force, and that will help us to get to the rectification. But for sure, the body has to be healthy, especially now we're Erev Yilulah Kadisha of the Rambam, the Nesher Gadol. The Rambam tonight is his Ilula along with Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzera, two great tzaddikim. And if you made it this far in the shir, then you get a gem. It says in the parasha that we just read, Vayechi Yaakov. Yaakov Avinu lived for 17 years in Mitzrayim and he passed away, right?
Yeah.
Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzera, the patriarch of the Abu Chatzera family, also lived in Mitzrayim for 17 years on the way to Eretz Yisrael, and he passed away in Goshen, in the same land where Yaakov Avinu lived and passed away. On which parasha? Parashat Vayechi.
No way.
Okay, not only that he lived there 17 years. It says here in the Pasuk, no, you can't. You have to be in Abu Chatzera to see these with your eyes. It says in Parashat Vayechi, in Pasuk Kaf Tet 29, right? So in the Torah, it's chapter 47, verse 29 of Bereshit. It says, the days of Israel came to pass. The time approached for Israel to die, so he called to his sons to Joseph and said to him, please, if I have found favor in your eyes, please place your hand under my thigh and do kindness and truth with me. And then it says, in the Hebrew, I'm going to read it, Al na tikbereni b'Mitzrayim. Please do not bury me in Egypt. Here you're going to be able to see it up close. Al na tikbereni b'Mitzrayim. Please don't bury me in Egypt. If you take each of those letters, Al na tikbereni b'Mitzrayim, each letter is an acronym for this following idea. Ani lo nikbar, I won't be buried. Aval tavo kadosh, but there will come a holy person. Bo remez nishmati, inside of him is a hint of my soul. Yaakov ben Mas'ud, Yaakov the son of Mas'ud. Tzaddik ra'ui, a fitting tzaddik, yoresh mekomi, to inherit my place. Meaning Yaakov Avinu says, I'm not going to be buried here. But there will come a tzaddik one day, inside of him he has a hint of my soul, his name is Yaakov ben Mas'ud, and he's going to be buried here. And he's there, he's buried till this day, he's buried in Egypt, in where Goshen was, where the land of the Jews in Egypt was, separated from the rest of Mitzrayim, and he passed away here on Parashat Vayechi. It's other Vayechi Yaakov be'Eretz Mitzrayim. Yaakov Abu Chatzer and Yaakov Avinu connected directly there. So B'ezrat Hashem. And they both said, like the Rambam laid out 613 mitzvot, like our teacher Rabbi Yoel always says, that Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzer says that the body is made up of 613 parts and the soul is made up of 613 parts. So if you want to strengthen the connection between the two of them, you should learn the 613 mitzvot and read them and connect, and then you can be able to make this connection that we're talking about here, that the soul and the body will be unified both with their 613 parts, and that's done by way of the 248 positive commandments and the 365 negative commandments. Amen. Keni Ratzon.